The first time the house called my name, I thought it was my sister playing a joke. I lay in bed, surrounded by the familiar creaks and groans of my family's old Victorian home, when I distinctly heard the name Emilia whispered in my ear. I shot up, rubbing the sleep from my eyes, and that's when I saw her standing in the doorway, my sister, laughing quietly as she usually did when she wanted to play a prank on me. I scowled at her. "What's so funny?" She shook her head and shrugged. "Nothing, just had to make sure you were listening." I scolded her, "Don't ever do that again," but as I settled back into bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that what I thought was just my sister's mirth had been something else entirely. Over the next few nights, I couldn't shake the sensation that something was off. I kept hearing the name Emily, sometimes my sister's voice, other times an unfamiliar whisper. I tried to brush it off as exhaustion, but whenever I drifted off to sleep, the name came back, echoing in my head like a mantra. I began to wonder if I was losing my mind. It wasn't just me, though. I'd catch snippets of conversations with friends and neighbors at school about a recurring nightmare that had everyone in town talking. They'd mention a creepy old house, a forest, and an endless sense of unease. It was as if the nightmare was a shared experience, something that we all lived through together. When I tried to probe them for details, they'd change the subject or quickly become evasive. As the nightmares intensified, the town's residents grew increasingly on edge. We'd see people walking down Main Street with a vacant stare, their eyes unfocused as if they were still trapped in the dream. Some claimed they'd wake up with vivid flashbacks of the house and an inexplicable fear of the woods. My own sister started having the nightmares too, and when I asked her what it was about, she'd mumble something incoherent about being lost and not being able to get away. One evening, I decided to talk to our local historian, Mrs. Jenkins. She'd grown up in the town and was infamous for her vast knowledge of our community's dark history. We sat in the quiet of her antique shop, surrounded by dusty trinkets and old photographs. As I recounted my experiences, her eyes narrowed, and her hands fidgeted with an antique locket. "You're talking about the Smith house," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "That place has a reputation. A lot of folks have reported seeing and hearing things around it. People say it was built on top of an old Indian burial ground." Her eyes flickered towards the window, and for a moment, I thought I saw a flash of unease in her face. "Does anyone know what the house is calling its victims?" I asked. Mrs. Jenkins hesitated before answering. "Some believe it's the spirits of those who died there, trapped between worlds. Others claim it's a warning, a message from the past to us to stay away." As I left Mrs. Jenkins' shop, the sun dipping below the horizon, I couldn't shake the feeling that the house was still calling out to me. The name Emily echoed in my mind, and for the first time, I felt an icy chill run down my spine. Maybe it wasn't just my sister's prank after all. Maybe it was something more sinister,